It was like, what's happening? What's going on? And then it was kind of dark. And then out of this darkness came a woman, and her face was a little different. It's like you could tell immediately at looking at her, she's not human. Her presence was different. And you start to notice that her lips aren't moving either. She's talking to me telepathically. Her eyes, she had big oval eyes. I couldn't tell if there was, because it was dark, if it was hair or like a hood that she had on, or both. I was like, how are you doing this? Because I just knew intuitively that it wasn't me doing this. And I asked her, and she directly responded, we have the ability to manipulate dreams, and in fact it's easier to communicate this way. And then after that, I felt like we had conversations about all kinds of different things, but for whatever reason, the only thing I could remember was that first sentence of her telling me that they had the ability to do this, to communicate that way.
You want to know something so crazy? That being just said that is crazy to me. That I know that to be true when it comes to like souls and spirits, like that earthbound or people that crossed over. They told me the same thing. They said it's easier for them to manifest in people's dreams. It takes less energy. So I think that's amazing that the ETs kind of do that in the same kind of in the same fashion. That's amazing to me. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but she was very kind. She didn't scare me or anything like that. The big eyes was different, and I'll like never forget it. And I'll explain this a little later, but because of some of these experiences I had, I told you about this off camera, but I got dowsing rods, and I tried them for the first time. At first, nothing happened. Then I tried a couple hours later, and spirit came through, and I started asking questions about ETs, because who doesn't want to know, right? So I started asking them to cross the rods for yes or move them apart for no about my experiences, and they were saying yes, that those were real experiences, those were real communications, that I was taken at some point. Very recently I had feelings. I was at Josie's mom's house to have my first recollection of actually being taken. It was like I was laying in bed, and then all of a sudden it was like that peak time when you're half asleep but still awake, sort of, and then I started to feel like I was just floating upwards, and it just felt like I was floating up. And at first I had this immense fear of what was happening. I was like, oh my God, I'm being taken. Like I started to freak out, but then I was just like, I remembered everything that I've been learning, and I just let go. I was like, it's okay, like you can take me. And then I felt like a weight released, felt free, at peace. And then I felt like I was returned, couldn't move my body, opened my eyes, and I couldn't move my body. I was like sleep paralysis. And then I thought somebody was walking back and forth in the room, and I thought that was Josie. It wasn't. When I finally was able to get up out of bed, it wasn't her. And then a couple days later, I had the same experience, but this time in my apartment. I don't live there anymore. Same thing, feeling of lifting up, can't move my body. There's some more stuff, but the last one I'll share, I had a dream, again, very lucid. I woke up in a rainforest, lost and confused, and I was scared, and I didn't know where I was. The bushes started rustling, and I was like, oh my God, it's a tiger, or like, what is that? It started to freak me out. But then out of the bushes came a woman, and she had long blonde hair, blue eyes, kind of looked like a young Nicole Kidman, I guess. She didn't have the big eyes like the first woman did. She had skin tight clothing, which is weird. I think she was barefoot also, but like the clothing was just kind of like a one piece, like to the neck. Yeah, bodysuit.
To my knowledge, that's a Pleiadian.
The descriptions and appearances, that's exactly what she looked like. So I'm like, okay, this is, again, I had that experience before I was getting more into this. And she said, come with me, they're coming. And I'm like, who's coming? I was confused. For whatever reason, I trusted her completely. I just knew I could trust her. And she like put my heart at ease. And then I grabbed her hand and we ran through the forest. We went through a clearing, and then there was kind of like a beach with some like kind of palm tree there. But that's when I knew it wasn't Earth, because it looked like a completely different place. The sand was like how we would see sand on Earth, but then you had the ocean, you had other people or beings. I don't know, I didn't get close to them, but they were all in like meditative position, like meditating on the beach. And they're on the horizon, you could see another planet that was extremely close, and it had like a ring around it, kind of like Saturn. And then these UFOs came, these disc-shaped UFOs came and hovered above everyone meditating. I was sitting on the sand at this point, and she had disappeared somewhere. And I closed my eyes because I was still scared, because I had no idea what was going on. And it took me, and I remember being like in the craft, thrown through the universe almost, like I could see planets and celestial bodies and stuff. And I ended up in a weird place wherever this UFO dropped me off. I don't know if it was a dimension, I don't know if it was like a physical place or something, but it looked like, you guys seen Harry Potter with the moving stairs? It was kind of like that, but no stairs. It was more like sacred geometry, just like moving, like platforms. And it was red and dark. And a gentleman showed up, and he said, "You're not supposed to be there yet." And then I just wake up. "You're not supposed to be here yet." I wake up, and I've had other dreams, same thing, where a gentleman shows up. He's like, "You're not supposed to be here." And then I wake up.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, that's your astral body. That
Yeah,
kind of
that's what I thought too, because it's not. Yeah.
But to some degree, you got to be like, you agree to it, or else, you know, because they're not going to do something like, if you were totally against it, or if you like scare you to death, for instance, if they happened to me or Josie, we'd probably be like, "Oh, hell no." Like, you know, so our experiences would probably be much different, you know, more subtle, you know, maybe. Not to say they're not real, because I feel like, obviously, what I do for work, it is all real. You know, we're all in the mind creator, and imagination, things like that are very real. Not necessarily logical, but real nonetheless. So that's an amazing experience. What about you, Josie? Because like, I'm so interested, like, and that's what I'm saying, like, people, not just you, but so many people have had experiences, you know, personal, beautiful experiences. So it's happening within and without, you see?